Invite up next Mr. Vladimir Jerkovic, and he's a very good friend of ours. He's a beekeeper, a nature lover, and an excellent historian. He and I have had a lot of great conversations talking about the history of the region, the history of Yugoslavia, 20th century history and war and current events. So he's a wealth of knowledge, which he is so graciously agreed to share with us today. And I'd like to have you come up next. We're going to be talking about apitherapy, which is therapy based on products made by bees, including honey and other things that our little buzzing friends produce. So without further ado, please come up to the stage, Vladimir Jerkovic.
First of all, thank you for the opportunity, and thanks to Mr. Walls for introducing me as a beekeeper, because when people want other people to get into what they are, they probably do some other things like what they've been doing in their lives since, what achievements do have. But in this particular moment, I think it's not that important at all, because we have this longevity conference that is ongoing and is in phases of early development. And being as such, we are somewhat pioneers in all of that. The speaker before me was the one. The speaker before me was the one who was talking about immortality. And when I entered this afternoon, I was talking to these nice people that even the late Freddie Mercury was thinking about who wants to live forever, because if you people remember, there was a movie, Highlander, and he was immortal, and it was a curse to be immortal, and somehow it was just like he didn't like it. The other way to look at it, we can see it from Serbian ethnography. Serbian and Romanian ethnography, they talk about people who are dead but are undead, and in the world they are called like vampires. They are related to the myth and partially historical figure of Vlad Cepeš or the Vlad Dracul, who wasn't able to die anyways. So I know that this is a different approach and different story of its own. People should live healthy lives, and as such live as long as it is possible. And it's a value for itself, but it wasn't a value in all of the societies throughout the human history of the human civilization. The value was to achieve something, to go somewhere, to spread the idea that has the value, and to protect the ones that you appreciate, love, or it was all related to the belief. And I don't want to become too religious about it, because religions and belief, we all know, are not the one and the same. But this is also the matter of belief. Believing that it's a good thing to become immortal in the same body that you were born in and that you are inside within is also an idea. And Carl Jung, a famous physician, medical doctor and psychiatrist, he used to say that the situation is not that people have ideas, but ideas have or own people. We can say that it's not true, it's not the fact itself, but imagine yourself having some kind of feelings and ideas that completely engage all of your capacities, mental, physical, attention, and direct it towards those ideas. And people have shown throughout the history that they are like, how do I say, they are the instruments for those, let's call it, non-beings of ideas who make themselves through our physical bodies and our livelihoods by ourselves, our behavior, and our wielding ourselves in our lives. So without idea, human beings cannot exist in any ways. Robotics, informatics, artificial intelligence, those are all developed ideas, but they were ideas. So after that, they become something that they weren't meant to be. As such, I was invited today to speak about something else, and about bees. Bees are insects. And not all of the bees produce something that human beings use. But what makes them interesting that bees are very present in the antique stories and traditions. For instance, Zeus, the highest god in the ancient Greece, he was being kept, guarded by a swarm of bees, and he was fed by the bees. And Ambrosia, later on, was something that him and Hera invented, let's say, on their wedding, and that was the honey. So the honey was also the currency in the early Dark Ages or whatever, but we look at it as a product of the nature. So bees, they are collecting something that is essential for their lives, and humans have adopted some of their products in their diary or diet or their, how do I say, everyday supplementing domains. So what do the bee do? What do? They live for themselves. The products of nature, of all kinds of herbs, the pollen, the nectar, it comes through their honey stomach. It goes out, and it's perfectly, how do I say, perfectly stored in the beehives, and it can be there forever if there is a bee community over there. So when we talk about bee products as a natural adaptogens, I believe that everybody heard about what is adaptogenic activity. It is not clear what is it, but it is something that makes our body react to a stressful situation of any kind on a better way. Let's say we don't want to react too much on some stimuli from outside. We had that with coronavirus, which is not as itself very dangerous, but our body reacted as it was like a plague or something, and we killed ourselves. So adaptogens can do some of things for us if those products are used on a daily basis. There was this, we said Hippocrates in Serbian, so Hippocrates. He said, let food be thy medicine, and medicine be thy food. So whatever we eat, it can be medicine for us. We don't need drugs for that. So when we talk about bee products, there are all sorts of bioactive compounds, but there is no standardization because bees are traveling all over the place in 5 kilometer in range, and they are collecting nectar. They are collecting all kinds of resins coming from, let's say, pine tree or whatever. And you cannot say that this honey is the same as the second one because they are completely unique. The content are sugars, enzymes, amino acids, phenolics, and antioxidants. Antioxidants is something that we learned about that's very important to stay healthy and functional in life, but it's not that way. It's not that simple because we have this glutathione that we produce in our liver, and we shouldn't need anything else besides that to stay completely healthy. But there is another way that I would like to add to what bee products contribute in human beings. They stimulate production of alpha-lipoic acid in our cells, and alpha-lipoic acid is some kind of acid that every cell produces, but it recycles vitamin C, ubiquinone, coenzyme 10, vitamin D, vitamin E. So it is possible in reality to eat half of paprika once a year, and if you are completely on a cellular level healthy, like a pristine man, it's enough to be completely healthy, not to get any kind of illnesses. But taking alpha-lipoic acid, anyways, it will not help that much, but it can do some of the things. Other things besides honey, there is propolis. So it's a gluing material. Probably you all have heard about it. It's a very interesting one because me, myself, as a beekeeper, I also collect it. and made an extract out of alcohol, and it is anti-inflammatory compound. That is another thing we talked today, that we don't want inflammations. But without inflammations, we would pretty much die very soon. In some things, they say do sports. Okay, I do sports in order to evoke inflammation, so to strengthen my tendons or muscles. So we have to be involved with the real world in order to stay healthy. We cannot go to a special place. We can do in some places, but we have to be, and I think that Liberland is aiming towards that, in this merging of high-tech science, how would I say it, and living within the nature. It will not be as it used to be in the story of Eden, when Adam was there, even before Eve was over there, when he walked around and none of the animals attacked him. He could eat whatever he wanted. He had enzymes for digesting whatever he wanted. And all of the animals, you know the story, how it goes. Maybe you don't know, but the third thing is royal jelly. Royal jelly is something that is produced by the bees, but only from the first day they hatch to the 5th day. After that, they don't produce royal jelly. They produce some other substance that produces wax. And they feed the queen bee, and that is why she's so big, and she can. She's the only one who has not only maternal instinct, but she can lay for at least, like, I don't know, 3,000 eggs a day. Royal jelly is something that's not widely distributed. And that's enough. But in Japan, they appreciate it, and they take it as if, for instance, here somebody is taking black tea or whatever, green tea, they're taking royal jelly. There is a bee pollen. It's a protein, all sorts of kinds. There's vitamins, minerals, carotenoids, polyphenols. Why are vitamins and minerals so important? Because vitamins came from the word vita, because life, because they thought that they are necessary for the life. But if somebody is really reading the newest studies on what vitamins are, in what amount are they needed in human body, it's not that simple at all. And there is a bee venom, and there is a huge bee venom market, let's say in Hollywood. So they are using bee venom. It is the most poisonous venom in the world. It's not the most poisonous venom. Isn't derived from some snake or whatever. It's from the bees. But in this amount, it can be a healing process, because it resets our innate system for defending ourselves for all kinds of things. So the whole idea about that we are individuals in individual bodies, in the physical world, in the physical bodies, and we have to tackle all of these attacks. So we need antioxidants. So in ancient times, what they did, they let the honey stale for a while, mixed it with a little bit with the water, and drank it as a mead, as a honey beer. When they were going on military campaigns, let's say Vikings, they were drinking only beer, nothing else. It wasn't that strong. Alexander the Great, when they were having all those military campaigns, they were drinking only the wine that was like very, because everything else would be detrimental for their digestive system. They couldn't do it. So we may say that most of the armies and people moving in the whole mass during the history, they were taking some kind of alcoholic fermented thing that was derived whether from some fruits or from the honey. Recently, they extracted this 10-HDA. It's one new molecule, and they say, okay, we don't know what it is for, but let people use it. We will do it in vitro. So they say it can heal some things that couldn't be healed before. But nothing is that simple. And we always should think not only about the philosophical aspects of that, but also about humane aspects, because the science of human beings is related, let's say, to history, to linguistics, and it's falling down. Everything that goes up is technology, it's robotics, it's biology, natural sciences, and we are not. We can always be natural being. We are that by default. But if we want to be successful social beings, we should strive to something else. Why is honey and health of people important? And are there evidence? Of course, there are evidence. And people always remind, oh, I got some honey, I can use it when I have a sore throat or whatever. But we cannot ask for any kind of compound to be a life-saving compound in some cases. But in my personal experience, I started excessively taking royal jelly 8 years ago. I was in some medical condition. I was eating honey as anything else, and perhaps it made me better. But it's never going to turn the clock the other way around. This year I'm 46, 47 years old. I feel pretty much the same as I was like 27, but I'm not. I'm aware of that. And in a few years I'm going to be quite older and I'm going to like it. So I'm not here to propose anything against the longevity of the life, but we must have the reason to live for, and of course, the reason to die for. And I think that the whole thing about the bees is about that, because they are dying for the community, and they never die in their own beehive. So they go collect, and sometimes they are so tired that they cannot come back. And they live only 40 days in the summer times. It is the same amount of days that it takes soul in Christianity to leave the body of the demised. So the relation between the bees and the society and historical, how do I say, view on the bees, it's something mysterious that is converting something from the nature and providing to the people. But when you make it as part of agriculture or whatever, of course, it's not the same product. So organic is the same thing. There are products that are very similar to the honey, but are not honey. And the only honey is the one that's organic. That's like, squeezed from the beehives, and that's it. I want to say something about bee venom. Bee venom is very expensive, but in order to produce bee venom, you have to kill thousands and thousands of bees, because when they activate their stings, they die. So they use glasses, and they provoke them with electricity, and they squirt out, if I may say, the poison, and the poison goes down the glass, and they collect it. And I think that 1 liter of that is like almost like 20,000 euros or something like that. And people, not in health industry, but in, how do they say, not in health performance, but the other one, cosmetic industry, are very, very interested in that, because when you inject it in some layers of the skin, it can make the production of the collagen way beyond anything you can eat or put on yourself. And we are always looking at Mel Gibson and other people who are like doing something, whatever. But I think that some of the things are very simple, and we already know that. We just have to accept it and incorporate it in our lives, and that there are boundaries as long as we have our senses and we perceive this life throughout empirically. The senses, we are in this story of ours, and maybe the only thing that we have and are left with is the story about ourselves and about others. And I was here to tell something about the bees and to remind us of them. Thank you. Yeah. Which one?
Thank you so much, Vladimir. It was a great presentation. One thing I heard is that if you move a beehive, you have to move it at least 4 kilometers from where it's sitting, right?
That is true. If you don't move it enough, they will come back at the place where the original beehive was, and they will die outside. Yeah.
Can I ask a question also?
Yes.
I'm a small beekeeper, not like you. I have only one small beehive, and I'm interested in the royal jelly we're talking about. So it made you the king, but I'm wondering how to harvest royal jelly.
Royal jelly is produced by young bees. They're young,
Yes.
and they are feeding
Queen.
the queen bee. And you know it. For instance, you take out the queen bee. Those is technology. You take out the queen bee, and they say, "Oh my God, we haven't got queen bee. We are going to die out in a month." So what they do? They start producing more of this royal jelly. The young bees. They start feeding one or three of larvae, and they developed into females. And then they get out after 20 days out of the beehive. Luckily, they meet like 200 drones. They pair with them. They tear out their reproductive organs. They put it in their body and return. And if nothing eats them, they are a new queen in that, and they can ensure the resilience and the future of the colony. But it is all in 40 days range. It can happen, it can lose or whatever. Yeah, it's very interesting. And if you have, but the other thing that they're doing, for instance, the sportsmen in Eastern Germany and in Bulgaria, Romania during 80s, they were using apilarnin. Apilarnin is the same thing, but the thing that are fed with drones. Drones are males, and they were taking this substance from males because it's better to be eaten by males because it's got testosterone inside and so on. So the production of that is very high, was very high in Ukraine and in China, but people are not using it that much. But royal jelly is the same thing, but for some reasons it's not advisable for women after some age and so on. Yeah. But for men it's always okay.
Physically, where do you find it? In the beehive somewhere?
You
in a
find it
special
in the
place?
beehive, in the small part where they are growing a new, yet to be mother queen or the.
So it's very hard to harvest.
Yeah,
I guess.
you must have pincers and small
So you do it
instruments.
yourself.
I'm not producing. Yeah, for me it's too complicated, and I don't want to mingle with this process because you have to kill the existing. It's like you don't have to kill it. You just have to remove it outside, and it's very chaotic.
Okay.
Yeah, and we have guests here who are today, and they are going Hegedish. Hegedish family. They are producing products. They are collecting products from the bees for decades. And the owner of this Apitherapy familiar group, he was even born in the woods, near the beehives. Yeah, the guy. He will do the workshop and present all of the products down there.
Thank you so much, Vladimir.
Thank you very much. If you visited us, here at the Ark and been around here in nature and up in the Gornja Podunavlja Park, you'll notice a lot of beehives by the side of the road. And I just have a question for y'all. What do you call a wasp who tried to make honey? A wannabe. Okay. All right. We'll move on. Thank you very much, Vladimir.